Respect is never given. It is extracted. You do not earn it through kindness, and you do not win it by asking. In every room, there is a silent hierarchy. Predators who control the tone, and prey who conform to it. The weak believe respect is a byproduct of morality. The powerful know it is a weapon. Taken in the first minutes of an encounter, Machiavelli understood. People bow to force long before they bow to virtue. To gain instant respect, you must distort the first impression into an image of inevitability. You must engineer an aura that tells them, without words, that you can't be ignored, corrected, or dismissed. In this video, you will learn 8 cold-blooded strategies to command that reaction. These are not tricks. They are psychological recalibrations of how you enter a room, how you hold silence, how you dismantle arrogance before it forms. This is not about being liked. It is about being untouchable. Watch closely, because the moment you understand these rules, you'll start seeing the ones who don't, and they'll never see you coming. Rule 1 is dominate the first 5 seconds. According to Machiavelli, appear as if you were born to be obeyed. They've already decided who you are before you've opened your mouth. That's the part no one wants to admit. Every room has an unspoken evaluation process, a scan, a calculation that happens in silence. You feel it when you enter. Eyes shift, heads tilt, and somewhere in the background, an invisible ranking is being drawn. It's rarely based on truth. It's based on what they see in the opening seconds. Once you're placed in their hierarchy, it's nearly impossible to escape. This is where most people fail. They enter with the wrong pace, too quick, too eager. They rush to greet. They smile before making eye contact. They start talking before they've even claimed space. They think it's friendly. It reads as desperation, and desperation is the scent of prey. Machiavelli understood the battlefield is chosen before the fight begins. The first 5 seconds are the ground on which you'll stand or be buried. To dominate them, you must slow everything down, not lazily, but deliberately. Your movement should suggest that you answer to no one's tempo, but your own. Your posture must be still, yet present. Stillness is not weakness. It's the quiet tension before a strike. Your gaze should measure, not plead. You do not scan the room for acceptance. You let the room scan you, knowing that every second they hesitate to interpret you, your control grows. Silence in these moments is an active weapon. Most people fear it. They feel the urge to fill it with explanations, jokes, or small talk. Resist. The one who speaks first often gives away their position. If they fill the void, you've already placed them in the reactive position. And once they're reacting, they are following your lead, even if they don't realize it. If you start from dominance, you can afford to show warmth later. That warmth will be interpreted as strength, generosity from someone who doesn't need to give it. If you start from submission, any display of authority will feel forced, like an act you're trying to sell, and people always sense the act. These opening seconds are not about arrogance. They're about establishing inevitability. You're not here to compete for respect. You're here to make it impossible to treat you without it. That is why the first 5 seconds are the lock. Once secured, every action that follows turns the key deeper. Master this, and you'll never have to claw your way up mid-conversation. You'll begin where others spend hours trying to arrive. And the most dangerous part? They won't even realize the decision to respect you wasn't theirs. It was made the moment you stepped into the room. Third habit: speak less than you're expected to. According to Machiavelli, the more you speak, the more you hand your power to others. The less you say, the more they must come to you. They expect you to talk. They expect you to fill the silence. They expect you to prove yourself worthy of their attention. That expectation is a trap. The moment you try to satisfy it, you lower yourself to their level. The urge to explain is the urge to submit. You explain because you want them to understand you. You explain because you fear being misunderstood. You explain because you still believe they will judge you fairly. They won't. The truth is, every word you give them becomes a tool they can use against you. Weak men justify themselves. Powerful men allow curiosity to grow unanswered. In most conversations, the average person bleeds out information without even realizing it. They reveal their fears, their insecurities, their weaknesses, all because they can't bear the discomfort of silence. They mistake talking for connection, and they don't see the power they're giving away. Silence is a currency the masses undervalue. Those who wield it create scarcity, and scarcity breeds respect. When you speak less than you're expected to, you force others to fill in the gaps. They start projecting depth, wisdom, and authority onto you, whether you deserve it or not. They build their own image of you in their minds, and that image often makes you appear stronger than you actually are. Machiavelli understood this well. In politics, in court intrigue, in war, those who revealed the least always held the advantage. It wasn't about lying. It wasn't about being evasive. It was about never giving more than necessary. The man who controls the flow of words controls the pace of the game. When you do speak, strip away every trace of weakness from your language. Cut the filler. Remove the phrases that beg for approval. I think, maybe, in my opinion. These are not the words of someone who commands respect. They are the words of someone who is asking for it. Instead, speak in absolutes, direct statements, not because they are always true, but because they carry weight, a voice that does not tremble, a tone that does not rise at the end of a sentence like a question, a pace that does not rush. These are the subtle weapons of dominance. And here's the thing. When you speak without trying to convince, you shift the burden of reaction onto them. Now they are the ones who have to decide what your words mean. They are the ones who feel the need to fill the space you leave. This imbalance is the seed of unconscious submission in a crowd. The one who speaks the least is rarely ignored. In fact, they are watched more closely. Every word becomes an event. Every sentence carries more gravity because there are fewer of them. This is not shyness. This is psychological warfare. You control the tempo of the conversation. You dictate the atmosphere. You decide when to break the silence and when to let it press down on them until they feel the need to escape it. People will remember you for what you didn't say far longer than for what you did. They will replay the moment in their minds, wondering what you were thinking, what you were holding back, what you meant but didn't express. And that mystery is where respect is born. Speak less than you're expected to. And when you finally do speak, make every word feel like a privilege they had to earn. Because once they believe your voice is rare, they will treat it like gold. Rule 3 is master the precision strike. According to Machiavelli, a single decisive act can outweigh a lifetime of effort. You talk too much. You give too much. You show too much. Every time you do, power leaks. Respect is not found in volume. It is found in timing. The precision strike is the skill of waiting. It is the skill of watching. It is the act that changes everything. Inside, you learn patience the hard way. You watch people reveal themselves. You notice patterns. You see arrogance swell when unchecked. You see soft spots exposed by idle chatter. You see hands tremble when promises are weighed. This is knowledge most people squander. They think being present always means being active. They mistake motion for force. You do the opposite. You let them fill the air. You let them claim the narrative. You let tension rise like pressure in a sealed room. You become the quiet eye of the storm. That quiet is not absence. It is preparation. It is calculation. It is the slow sharpening of an edge they cannot see. Then you strike, not loudly, not often. One move, one sentence, one refusal, a fact dropped with cold precision, a cutoff that leaves no answer, a correction so exact it removes their comfort. The strike lands with a clarity that fractures illusions. It rewrites the ledger of who holds influence. People will search for reasons. They will replay the moment. They will hunt for the pattern you gave them. But there is none to find. You were deliberate. You were surgical. And because your action was measured, their reaction becomes your proof. This is not about cruelty. It is about economy. You conserve force like ammunition. You waste nothing on noise. You make each act memorizable. You allow uncertainty to grow until your single move destroys it. That destruction is authority. Machiavelli taught that decisive acts weigh more than endless gestures. He learned that a well-placed blow makes others cautious forever. Once you land one such strike, they revalue every next step you take. They assume competence where there was silence. They defer where there might have been argument. The precision strike leaves silence in its wake. Silence that honors the act. Silence that forces reassessment. Silence that makes them listen to you before they speak. That silence becomes a shield. It keeps them from testing you again. Your power, then, is patience turned into impact. The world respects the one who can wait and then end the waiting with purpose. Do not confuse volume for victory. The crowd applauds noise, but obeys the quiet that decides. Each strike must be necessary, clean, and irreversible. If you strike for pride, you become predictable. If you strike for advantage, you become inevitable. Let them remember the moment when you chose to act and when you chose to remain silent. That memory will govern their choices. Always land your strike, walk away. Let them rebuild their assumptions from the ruins. Rule 4 is weaponize detachment. According to Machiavelli, he who depends on the breath of others for his worth will suffocate the moment they turn away. They will expect you to react. That's the first thing you must understand. Every word, every glance, every carefully placed silence, they will test you to see if they can move you. Because most people can. Most people are emotional puppets. A compliment makes them swell. An insult makes them crumble. Praise changes their posture. Criticism makes them defend, explain, or beg. They are wired to respond because they are addicted to approval. You cannot be one of them. Weaponized detachment is not about being cold for the sake of cruelty. It is about control, not control over them. Control over yourself. Your face stays calm. Your voice stays measured. Your pulse doesn't shift. Whether they offer you a crown or a knife, you treat both the same. When someone insults you, you do not flinch. You let the words pass through the air and die without landing. When someone flatters you, you acknowledge it without hunger. No leaning in, no softening, no gratitude that smells like need. This is not indifference. This is strategy. Machiavelli understood the danger of dependence on public opinion. He warned that leaders who need applause are bound by the crowd's mood. One day they raise you high. The next they bury you. If your worth is tied to their hands, they control the rope. So you cut the rope. You stand alone. You decide your value in silence, without their permission. At first, this will disturb people. They will keep probing, trying to break the surface. They will mock you to get a reaction. They will praise you to lure you in. They will gossip to draw you into their storms. And every time they fail, the tension grows. Soon, they start calibrating themselves to you. They watch their tone. They choose their words. They step carefully because they cannot read your limits. And that makes you dangerous. Respect is not given to the one who chases it. Respect belongs to the one who forces the world to adjust around him. And here's the paradox. Once you stop caring whether they respect you, they will respect you more. Once you stop giving them the keys to your emotions, they will look at you differently, not as a peer, but as a force they must reckon with. In the end, weaponized detachment is the highest form of dominance. You are not running from connection. You are refusing to be controlled by it, because the moment they see, they cannot move you. They move for you. Rule 5 is own the frame, not the fight. According to Machiavelli, he who defines the terms of battle has already won before the first blow is struck. They will come at you with accusations, with challenges, with traps disguised as questions. Most men will walk straight into them, defending themselves, explaining, justifying. That's the first mistake. When you fight inside someone else's frame, you have already surrendered. You've accepted their version of the truth. You've agreed to play on their field. You've let them decide what matters. And by doing so, you have lost before you've even started. The powerful never fight on another man's ground. They don't answer accusations. They don't follow the script someone else has written for them. They tear the page out and replace it with their own. Owning the frame means controlling how reality is defined in that moment. It means deciding what the fight is actually about and making sure it's never about the thing your opponent wants. If someone accuses you of being selfish, you don't defend yourself with, "I'm not selfish." You make the conversation about why their expectations are flawed. If someone questions your authority, you don't try to prove it. You question why they believe their opinion carries weight at all. If someone attacks your reputation, you don't explain your actions. You make the discussion about their motives, their credibility, their hidden weaknesses. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He knew that perception is reality for most people. And if you can control the lens through which events are seen, you control the outcome. A prince accused of corruption doesn't argue that he's honest. He convinces the crowd that corruption is necessary for stability. The accusation dies instantly because the terms of the argument have changed. The frame is invisible to most people. They fight within it without ever asking who built it. They swing their swords in a room their enemy designed. In the light, their enemy set. To music, their enemy chose. To own the frame, you must first detach emotionally. You cannot reframe when you are reacting out of anger or fear. The calm man can see the board clearly. The desperate man only sees the piece in front of him. The reframe is not about winning the fight. It's about making the fight irrelevant. When you shift the conversation so that their attack no longer matters, you strip them of their power. They are left swinging at shadows while you stand untouched. The weak think strength is in striking back harder. The strong know strength is in deciding where the battle takes place or whether it takes place at all. Every confrontation is a negotiation for meaning. Whoever defines that meaning wins. If they define it, you lose, even if you land every blow. If you define it, you win, even if you never strike. The next time someone challenges you, don't take the bait. Don't defend. Don't explain. Pause. Strip the situation down. Ask yourself, what is this really about? And how can I make it about something else? Something I control. He who owns the frame owns the outcome. And once you understand this, you will never again be cornered. Because there will be no corner. Rule 6. Display selective ruthlessness. According to Machiavelli, cruelty, when used well, must be swift, rare, and unanswerable. They will test you, not once, not twice, but over and over, probing for softness, for hesitation, for the smallest sign that your kindness is weakness. And if they find it, they will push until you break. Selective ruthlessness is not about becoming a monster. It's about proving once that you could be, if you chose to. People respect mercy only when they know it could be replaced by destruction. Show them that your restraint is voluntary, not born of fear. The weak make the mistake of endless leniency. They believe constant kindness will be remembered as strength. It is not. It is read as fear. It invites the worst kind of predators, the ones who smile as they take from you, because they know you will not stop them. You must be willing to stop them, decisively, publicly, if necessary. A toxic subordinate who poisons the air with lies, remove them without warning. Someone crosses a boundary you have drawn, shatter it in a way they never forget. A rumor meant to weaken you, crush it with facts, so undeniable it leaves the instigator silent. Do it once, do it well, and let the memory linger. Ruthlessness should never be your default. It should be your rarest weapon, because rarity amplifies its power. The fewer times you act with true severity, the more people remember each one. Machiavelli understood this. If you must strike, strike in a way that cannot be answered. Leave no space for revenge. End the matter so completely that even your enemies accept it. This is not cruelty for pleasure. It is discipline in service of dominance. Control is not proven by constant displays of force. It is proven by the fact that you could destroy someone and you choose not to until the exact moment they need to see it. Then you make sure they see it fully. The presence of force is often enough to prevent its use. If they know you are capable of ending the game, they will think twice before playing it. And here's the paradox. The more selectively ruthless you are, the less you will need to be. Your reputation will walk into the room before you. People will measure their words, weigh their actions, and censor their disrespect because they have seen what happens when you decide not to be merciful. Never waste that strike. Never dilute its effect with unnecessary aggression. Hold it in reserve. Guard it like a blade you keep hidden until the moment it matters most. Because when you do choose to draw it, it will change the entire room. It will remind them, once and for all, that mercy from you is a choice, not a guarantee. Rule 7 is, make power visible, but not accessible. According to Machiavelli, men should be made to see your power, but never to touch it. They will only respect what they can feel, but they will only fear what they cannot reach. You must give them just enough to believe you are dangerous, but never enough to understand why. When power is invisible, it becomes irrelevant. They forget you exist. They speak without caution. They plan without fear. When power is too visible, it becomes a challenge. They will unite to break it. They will study you. They will search for weaknesses until they find one. The art lies in the balance. Show the shadow, but hide the source of light. Let them hear the echo, but never see the voice. In practice, this means hinting without revealing. You allow them to see the results you create, but not the process that makes them possible. You let them know you have influence, but never name the hands you control. You reveal a resource only after it has already been used, and never before. They must see evidence of your reach, but they must never be able to measure it. If they can measure you, they can plan against you. If they can understand you, they can predict you. And prediction is the death of fear. The strongest position is the one where they know you can strike, but cannot calculate when, where, or how. When they cannot see the path to your strength, they hesitate, they second guess, they tread carefully. This hesitation is respect, the cold kind that never asks questions. Machiavelli understood that uncertainty is more powerful than proof, because proof can be debated. But uncertainty lives in their mind. It keeps them alert. It forces them to consider your reaction before making their move. This is why you never lay out all your cards. You let them see the edge of the blade, but never place the hilt in their hand. You allow them to sense danger without knowing its full scope. They must believe you can end them, but never know exactly how you would do it. When you make your power visible, but not accessible, you create a permanent state of calculation in others. They weigh every word. They measure every step. And they do it because they cannot see the limits of your strength. It is the same as a locked door in a dark hallway. You don't need to open it to be afraid. You just need to know something is behind it. So let them see the door. Let them feel the lock, but never hand them the key. Final rule: respect is engineered, not deserved. According to Machiavelli, it is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both, they tell you respect is earned, that if you are fair, honest, and patient, the world will naturally give it to you. That's the lie. The truth is uglier. Respect is built like a fortress, brick by brick, shadow by shadow. It is not granted, it is designed. The masses don't admire the just man unless he's untouchable. They don't follow wisdom unless it carries the weight of consequence. Without fear, your virtue means nothing. Without control, your goodness is invisible. Look at the rules you've learned. The first impression, how you seize the room before they know your name. The silence, how you let them choke on their own uncertainty. The precision strike, how you choose your moments, like a blade sliding between armor. The detachment, how you remove your need for their approval. The frame, how you decide what reality they see. The ruthlessness, how you cut without hesitation. The visibility, how you stand where they cannot ignore you. These aren't tricks. They're pieces of a single machine, a machine that makes authority appear natural, that turns hesitation into obedience, that makes disrespect unthinkable. You are not here to wait for them to see your worth. You are here to take the position where your worth can't be questioned, where the cost of crossing you is higher than the cost of obeying. Respect is not a gift. It is a structure you build with intention. It is a weapon you sharpen in silence. And when it's complete, you don't ask for it. You leave them no choice but to give it.